Imagine calling for help only to be ignored because of the color of your skin. This is the shocking story of how a black man's plea for help was dismissed, until authorities discovered he wasn't just any man but the state's attorney general. A tale of prejudice, assumptions, and ultimate redemption. This story will leave you questioning everything about bias and authority. The night it all began. It was a quiet evening in a bustling city when the attorney general, a man dedicated to upholding the law, found himself in an unimaginable situation. Driving back from an official event late at night, he noticed something unusual, another car trailing him for miles. At first, he brushed it off as coincidence, but when the car's erratic movements became undeniable, he realized this wasn't ordinary. He wasn't just being followed, he was being targeted. Alarmed but calm, he pulled into a well-lit gas station, hoping to shake off his pursuer. The other car followed, its headlights glaring like the eyes of a predator. Now, imagine yourself in his shoes. You're in an unfamiliar area late at night, and no one around seems to notice your distress. What would you do? He decided to call 911. With a steady voice, he explained the situation, identifying himself by name. But what happened next stunned him. "Sir, unless you're in immediate danger, there's nothing we can do," came the indifferent response. He reiterated his concerns, but the dispatcher's tone remained dismissive. It was clear. His plea for help wasn't being taken seriously. Was it because they didn't believe him? Or was it something more sinister? The encounter turns tense. Minutes later, the situation escalated. The Attorney General decided to leave the gas station, hoping to reach a nearby police station. The car continued to tail him, flashing its lights and honking aggressively. Desperate, he dialed 911 again. This time, his frustration spilled into his voice. "I am the state's Attorney General," he declared. Yet, even with his title revealed, the response was lukewarm. The operator's skepticism was palpable, as if his words carried no weight. Finally, he spotted a patrol car parked by the side of the road. Relieved, he pulled over near the officers, explaining his ordeal. But instead of action, he was met with blank stares. The officers asked for his identification with a tone that bordered on hostility. They questioned why he was in the area and whether he might have misunderstood the situation. Meanwhile, the car that had been following him sped away unnoticed, leaving him stranded in disbelief. Imagine the humiliation, a man of law being questioned as if he were the criminal. The shocking realization. What the officers didn't know, or chose to ignore, was that the man standing before them wasn't just a random citizen. He was the very person responsible for overseeing justice in their state. It wasn't until another officer arrived, one who recognized the Attorney General, that the tone shifted dramatically. Whispers spread among the officers, their faces suddenly pale with realization. The man they had dismissed and doubted was not only innocent, but also one of the highest-ranking officials in the state's justice system. The Attorney General, however, didn't explode in anger. He stood silently, letting the weight of their actions sink in. But here's where the story takes a turn. Instead of berating the officers, he used the moment to educate them. He calmly asked, "If this is how you treat someone like me, how do you treat the ordinary citizens you're sworn to protect?" The silence that followed was deafening. This story isn't just about one man's experience. It's a reflection of a much larger issue. Bias, whether implicit or explicit, affects the very fabric of trust between law enforcement and the community. So what would you do if you were in his position? More importantly, how can we ensure such stories don't repeat themselves? If this story moved you, make sure to like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more powerful stories that reveal hidden truths. Together, we can shed light on the issues that matter most.